Welcome to Growing Your Team, a podcast designed for small business owners seeking to grow their company with the help of employees and contractors. Your time is limited, which means growing and leveraging teams is essential for business success. The Growing Your Team podcast is the place to learn tips and techniques designed to help you know when it's the right time to hire, how to select perfect fit team members, and how to maximize productivity while creating a positive work environment. Drawing from her 10-plus years of leadership and hiring experience, here is your host, Jamie Van Kuyk.
Hello, Jamie Van Kuyk here, and welcome back to the Growing Your Team podcast. I feel like it's been forever since I've recorded an episode for the podcast, and I guess it has been, because every episode that's gone live over the last 2 months, I recorded in May or earlier. It was so nice this summer to know that I had been proactive and took one thing off my plate for while I was trying to travel and enjoy some extra time with family while the kids were out of school. And I encourage you to do the same. Look ahead in your schedule. And when you have slow times, down times, see what you can do so you can get ahead and take time off around the holiday season. Or if you can't take complete days off, at least be able to reduce your workload because you are able to get stuff done proactively. But enough about that. Let's jump into today's episode. So today I want to talk about something that is a very trendy topic recently. I've seen articles and social media posts about this topic pretty frequently over the last few weeks, and you might have too. Or it could just be because I'm always reading articles and stuff about hiring and interviewing and all that fun stuff that, of course, it just pops up in my news feeds and everything because it knows I'll read it. But a term that you might have heard or you might have seen and you're wondering, what the heck is it, is quiet quitting. So today I'm going to tell you what quiet quitting is, what you can do about it as a business owner, and my opinion on the subject. To start off, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my opinion. And that is, I think the employees who are quiet quitting are actually doing something right. I know if you know what the term is, or as we go through this episode and you learn more about it, you might be like, what? But I'll explain why I think that. And it might not be 100% of the time that these people are right, but probably at least 95% of the time, in my opinion, these people have it right. And of course, I'll explain why. So that way, you make sure you're taking the right steps as a business owner when you see this happening, or if you see this happening within your own business with your own team members. So to start off, what is quiet quitting? It is when an employee who is typically a high achiever, who goes above and beyond, decides they're not doing that anymore. They're going to stay with the job because maybe the paycheck's nice or the commute's good, the hours are good. There's things that are good about the job. Maybe they like the environment, the team, who knows what it is. They don't want to leave completely, but they're kind of fed up. So they start doing what is called the bare minimum for them to keep their job. They're no longer going to go above and beyond and do more than what they are required to do. A lot of people hear this and all of a sudden their thoughts are, how dare someone take a step back? How dare someone who was going above and beyond before not go above and beyond anymore? Because as business owners, isn't that what we want? We want a team member who's going to go above and beyond and make us really, really happy to give them a paycheck. Because that sounds amazing. Get more out of a team member than you initially thought was possible to get what we sometimes call as that exceptional unicorn employee that does it all for us in that position. But guess what? In most cases, those team members are not getting compensated or even not getting recognized for that above and beyond work. They are getting compensated. They are getting a paycheck for the job that they were hired to do. What is on that job description? And if that's the job they're getting compensated for, then there's nothing wrong with them just doing that work and not putting in more effort, not doing work that is outside their job description just because that's the type of employee they always were. And that's why I think that at least 95% of the time, these employees have it right. Why should someone be expected to always go above and beyond? Why do we expect people to do more than what we are willing to pay them to do? We create positions because that is the position that we need filled within our business. And if a team member is achieving those action items, achieving the goals and the expectations that we set out for that role when we hired for that role, then that should be okay. I remember a while ago, I was having a conversation in a Facebook group with a business owner who was talking about team members underperforming. And the more we got into this conversation, I realized that the team members were technically performing. They were doing what they were supposed to, but this business owner was mad because the team members in particular that she was talking about were not the rock star employees that do exceptional and do more. She had some of these team members that were rock star employees, and she was trying to figure out what she could do to get everybody to that level. And she was thinking about letting these team members go that, as she put it, were doing the bare minimum for the job. And through a conversation, I helped her realize that the bare minimum is what they were hired to do. And if that is not okay, then she needed to reevaluate what that bare minimum is. But when you hire someone to do X, you shouldn't be upset that they don't perform Y, because you hired them for X. And yes, you might have some team members that come in and do Y and do Z, but the ones that come in and just do X because that is the job they were hired for are doing exactly what they were hired to do. They are doing exactly what is needed to keep their job and earn a paycheck. So we can't get mad at team members because they don't go above and beyond. And we're not talking about one-off scenarios where you want someone to occasionally go above and beyond to keep a customer happy in a situation where they might have been upset or things went wrong, and you want someone to go above and beyond so you keep that customer. We're talking about every day with every task that they do, you want them to go above and beyond. So my advice to you is, whether you're seeing quiet quitting going on, you're noticing a change in a team member's performance, or not, and you're just wondering what you can do to make sure you always have a team of rock stars that go the extra mile, that go above and beyond, you need to ask yourself, what is the bare minimum for this job? What was the job that these team members were hired to do? Are they fulfilling that requirement? Are they doing the job that they were hired to do? If you compared their performance against the job description for when they were hired, are they meeting expectations? And if the answer is yes, you have two choices. One, you can say, okay, they're doing the job that they were supposed to do. It's okay that they don't go above and beyond because they're meeting expectations, and just let it go. Or you can say, you know what? My business has changed. And as my business has changed, I need this when I used to need that. So the role I have on my team needs to change to reflect my current state of business. And guess what? If the role has changed where now you expect the team member to do more, you're probably going to have to pay that team member more. It is an elevated role. It is a role that has more responsibility. And if that is the case, you can't expect someone to be happy to take on new responsibilities, to take on new things in their job, and you to sit there and say, okay, but I'm going to pay you the same. That's not going to work, and that's not going to keep someone around. If you need to elevate a role, do it. But elevated roles typically come with higher compensation. So if the bare minimum of today no longer fits your business, then you need to adjust the role to fit your new expectations. And adjusted roles, elevated roles, typically come with higher compensation. And that's why a lot of these people are quiet quitting. They are recognizing that they are not being compensated for the work that they do. It could be that they're doing the work of director level work, but they have a manager title and they're getting told, well, we can't promote you to director because we just don't have spot on the team for that title right now. Wait, but you don't have a spot on the team for the title, but you expect someone to do the work? And that has happened to me before. So I know what that is like when it's like, yes, keep doing the work. We're just not going to give you the title and move you into that position. So if you're not willing to meet them where they are with the work, they have every right to just do the work that they are hired to do. The people that are quiet quitting are fed up. They want to spend less time in the office if they're not going to get recognized. They want to take on less stress if they're not going to get compensated. So you have a choice. Be okay with them quiet quitting as long as they're still meeting the expectations from when you put them into that position, or change the position and compensation to match what you currently need. Quiet quitting is nothing new. The term might be trendy, might be your first time hearing it, but employees have been doing it for a long time. Employees are saying, I am only going to do what I need to do unless I get respect. And as business owners, you have two options. Respect your employees, compensate them appropriately for their job, or run the risk of losing your team members. If you know someone that is great, who is capable of giving you more, who is capable of taking that position to the next level, and that's what you need, keep that rock star on your team. Otherwise, quiet quitting might turn into actual quitting. And you'll lose that team member completely and go back to having to hire and train to replace them. And that next team member that comes in, if they don't feel appreciated, if they don't feel that they're being compensated correctly, there's just going to be this never-ending cycle of potential rock stars on your team getting fed up and leaving. So create the culture where people don't want to quiet quit. Be known as employer who recognizes hard work and compensates their team members appropriately. Because once again, you can't get mad because a team member does the job that you hired them to do. And if you want more, don't just ask more from your employees if you're not going to give them more. So make quiet quitting a non-existent thing in your business and promote your team members and recognize your team members that constantly go above and beyond. And that wraps up this episode of the Growing Your Team podcast. Did you enjoy this episode? If so, and you have not done so yet, please subscribe to the Growing Your Team podcast so you can stay up to date on all the latest episodes and hear all the greatest tips from our guest experts on how you can grow your team so you can scale your business. And if you haven't done so yet, please consider leaving us a review. I would love to hear what you think of the podcast, and your review will help other people decide if this is the right podcast for them. So once again, thank you for listening, and be sure to subscribe and leave us a review.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Growing Your Team with your host, Jamie Van Kuyk. Be sure to subscribe and head on over to growingyourteam.com to connect, access the show notes, and discover more ways to hire and leverage your perfect fit team.